Let me tell you what fascinates me is that I've been to a lot of these presidential libraries, and not nearly as much space and time is devoted to the post-life, the post-presidency. And it brings to mind to me that so many people have said, you know, President Carter had a far better post-presidency than presidency. How do you look at it?
I think it's almost the same. You know, the issues with which I had to deal as president were momentous. We brought peace between Israel and its only major Arab challenger, Egypt, and that treaty has been in place for 30 years and not a word has been violated. We normalized diplomatic relations with China. We had the greatest expansion of national parks and wilderness areas in history, brought a comprehensive energy policy. And so I think that the main thing that this museum now shows is kind of a continuum of what you do before, during, and after the presidency. And you're right, this is the first presidential library that's really shown anything of substance after the White House years. So I think it's going to be a fascinating thing just to see the history of one person, that is me, but also the history of our nation, because I've identified about 30 things of importance that I had to address when I was president that are still on the desk of the Oval Office and President Obama has to address. Notably, the Mideast and Iran and energy and a comprehensive health program, and many, many others.
Let me ask you about Iran, because we're having those talks today. This is a country that you had to deal with during your presidency, during the hostage taking. Do you see any hope at all that Iran is going to come to the community of nations and somehow say, sure, come look at our facility, and we will certainly walk away from any nuclear ambitions? That's not going to happen, is it?
Well, in this museum presentation, there's a lot about Iran. And as I said before, the things that affected me when I was president quite often are the same things that 30 years, 25 years later affect President Obama's decisions. I hope and pray that Iran will be induced to permit the international inspectors to come in and observe their entire nuclear program, because what they're doing so far is entirely legal under the Non-Proliferation Treaty. They have a right to purify uranium and even plutonium to be used to produce power. I think the worst thing that we can do is to continue to threaten Iran, because if Iran is on the borderline between going nuclear and not on a weapons system, the constant threats that we or the Israelis are going to attack Iran is the best thing to force them, let's defend ourselves. So I don't think that Iran has yet made up their mind about what to do. And I think the best way we can do is engage them and stop making these idle threats that force them to take the most militaristic action.